supplies that you'll need just to make the basic faux book on its own without all the embellishments. I'll show you what you need for the embellishments when we get to that part of it. But basically, I'll have the rest of the dimensions up on my blog site for you. But you do need to have 2 pieces of cardstock cut at 4 inches by 10 inches, and then another 2 cut at 5 inches by 10 inches. Okay, so that makes basically the square of your book base, or rectangle rather. And then you'll also need a cover for your book. On this one I have cut at 5¼ inches by 9½ inches, and I've scored it at 4¼ and 5¼ and that will form our book cover. And then a bit of decorative paper for the front, and this is cut at 4 by 5, and you'll need some ribbon to hold your book closed. There'll be other things that you need to embellish it to make it pretty, but basically once you've got those bits, you've got most of your book ready. So it's really quite boring putting this together, so most of it will be in fast forward, and I'll probably cut some of it out. But basically all you have to do with those 4 pieces that you've cut, so the 2 4-inch ones and the 2 5-inch ones, you're going to use your score pal and you're going to score every ½ inch all the way along all 4 pieces. So that takes the longest part of it. Maybe that doesn't, the folding takes the longest part of it. Then you're going to do the same thing to all 4 pieces, and all you're going to do is you're going to concertina these folds backwards and forwards. Got to have a bone folder for this, guys. It really is important that you do, because you need to have really crisp, really straight folds, otherwise your book's going to be a bit wonky. So basically all you do is you fold over once. Now it's up to you. You can sort of, you know, manhandle it the way you want to get it to make sense. But basically once you fold the first one down, you want to turn it over and you want to fold back the other way. So you're concertinaing the whole time, and every single time you do it, you want to make sure, sorry for that snapping sound, guys, but you do really want to make sure you've got really nice crisp lines. Okay, so the same process. I'll do it in fast forward and talk to you when I'm done. Okay guys, that's it. That's all the concertinaing done, and you will just notice that I got a bit cheeky towards the end and I'm sort of got a bit slack with the pushing down the fold lines, and just did a couple of folds and then sort of hit it out with the bone folder. But it is important that those are nice and crisp, guys, so just make sure that either when you're scoring or when you're folding that you do get those nice crisp lines, because these are the pages of your book. Okay, now like I said, this is not my idea, guys. I found measurements, rough measurements that I have converted just a little bit for this, and I have never been able to see exactly how it goes together. So this is my version on how to put it together. There may be an easier way, and there probably is. I always tend to do things the hard way, but this is how I put it together. So this is that book cover that I mentioned was 5¼ by 9½ inches, and I've scored it at 4¼ and 5¼ So all we're going to do to make our cover is fold along those score lines that we got. So obviously your book is 1 inch in thickness. Now I, again, and as you know, I'm a fan of Tombow glue. It allows me to do a whole heap of manoeuvring and manipulating to make sure I've actually got things in place before glue dries on me, because I tend to like things to be exact, and it's the only glue that allows me a bit of time. Now with your pages of your book, you will notice that when you fold them, there is 2 clear sides to them. One side ends with the cardstock returning upwards, and it's the cut end here. There's 2 cut ends on one side. You flip it over to the other side, these are all fold ends. So this one side will have folds with 2 cuts on either end. The cut ends are the insides of your box. Well, that's how I make it anyway. So locate all of your concertinaed pieces so that the folds with the cuts are going to be facing inside your book, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Now, you can, before you start gluing this together, get a little bit of ink and smudge the edges of your folds to make them look all worn and a bit raggy, so you can sort of have them all look like pages. I've done that in the past. I'm going to leave this one clean and see how I go. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but you can just, while you've got them here together, hold them in a bundle and give them a bit of a smudge with, you know, soft suede ink, early espresso, something like that, basic black, get them nice and kind of old looking. So with all of my cut edges facing up, the short concertina bits obviously are the tops. The long concertina bits are the sides. And so this is the top and the bottom. I'll try and get this all in the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So all the cut edges are up, facing upwards, and I'm going to lay them all down flat. Now, it doesn't really matter which way you do it, but basically what you want to be able to do is that you're going to form a rectangle with these pieces, so they kind of all interlock together like that. And what I've done there is, with the cut edges facing up, I've just pushed down that very first little fold line that I've got, and then I've placed the end and placed that first fold line down, and the top and placed that fold line down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle first, and then I'm going to stick the rectangle to my card base. So let me remove, not card base, book cover, sorry guys. Got all stuck on card bases. So here we are. I'm just going to remove that so I don't get any glue on anything. And the way I do it, again, you might find an easier way to do it, is to put a bit of Tombow glue on those two panels that you flap down right at the top. Now let me see if I can zoom in, and I'll have to move it down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, oops. Almost got in the glue. So all you want to do, guys, is make a right angle with those first two bits of concertina. And what you want to make sure, when I've got it stuck in there, I'll show you what I mean. What you want to do is make sure that these two sort of make a right angle when you put them together. So this long piece wants to butt up against that first fold and it'll stick. And the same with this one, you want to butt that cut edge up along there so you've got a nice square. Hopefully that makes sense. You're just trying to form a rectangle with these base pieces. And I'll show you the same thing on the opposite end. So let me just move it up a little bit. So I'll put a bit of Tombow glue there and there. Now you can easily do this with snail, guys, if you're much more confident than I am, but I never really am. I want to put that cut edge up against that fold there. And see, these pages are going to fold into there. So you want that as a nice right angle corner, and the same thing on this side. You want that cut edge to butt right up against those foldy lines there. Okay, so that is, once they all stick, okay, that is your basic book base. Helps if you can see what I'm talking about. Sorry guys. So that's your basic book base there with your tops and bottom first layers stuck onto there. And basically what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to stick the pages alternating backwards and forwards between the sides and the tops all the way till we get to the top, basically. I'll show you what we're going to do. You'll get them all the way interleaved, and then we'll have this book base. Now, I do like to try and stick this rectangle down onto the card, to the book cover, before I start with shaping it, just to make sure that I'm happy that I've got it nice and square on here. And so as I'm building it, I'm building a nice clean rectangle and not building something abstract that's not going to fit properly. So once that's dried a little bit, which it sort of has, you have to be very careful. But then I flip it over so that my concertina pieces are sort of all hanging downwards. Does that make sense? So it's sort of on its back now. We're going to make that into the book. Again, Tombow glue. I have to do this because I'm not very good at committing to a stick when I put it down. Again, if you wanted to, you could use double-sided tape if you're a lot more confident. Just whack it down. It should be fine. I only use Tombow because I find it much more forgiving for me. So I'll pull that out the way. I'll put my card base, I keep going card base, book cover down. And I have to stand to do this, guys. So I'm going to flip this down. And basically what you want to be able to do is you want to put your book base, your book pages, so that it's evenly spaced top and bottom. See, this is what I mean about Tombow. I love that I've got a little bit of playtime, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Let me get these pages out of the way. Okay, that's on a bit of an angle, so you want to, oops. When I have to film it, I always find I stuff up more than I would normally stuff up. Okay, so let me just double check. Okay, happy with that little border on the bottom. Happy with that border at the top, kind of looking nice and even. Let me flip my pages out of the way and just check the sides. Happy with that little sort of thin border there and thin border there. Okay, all in all, I'm happy with where that's gone and stuck itself. Okay, so now that that base, those pages are stuck to that card base, I can sit down again. I'm pretty confident that that's going to form a nice square, so let's hope it does. Now, if you want to, at this stage, you can go ahead and place a another piece of pattern paper on the inside for your bottom of your box, so that you get a nice plain, a nice pretty pattern in the bottom if you want to. I'm not going to do it with this box. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to stick the pages together. So basically what you want to do is overlay a side and a top and a side and a top, and do alternating layers until you get up to the top. So remember, we started with the end pieces. We stuck them on top of these side pieces when we stuck down originally. So it's now the alternate is to stick the sides in on the top pieces. Doesn't seem to make sense when I tell you, but I hope you can understand what I'm trying to do. You'll see as I go through. So I just put a dot of Tombow glue, one in each corner. Now, some people don't stick their pages down individually, I think, but I like to. So all I'm going to do is I put Tombow glue top and bottom. Just take the first level of concertina, so the first fold, put my fingers in there, push it to the inside and hold those corners. Now, Tombow glue does take a little while to dry, so you sort of have to wait. But again, I like to take advantage of that ability to move it and move it into square if I'm not happy with it, rather than it sticking instantaneously. Okay, so then obviously now it's time for the top and bottom to come up. So I put a bit of glue in the corners again. And this time I'm going to go top and bottom, first set of folds, in and in, like that. Now, I'm not happy with that one. It's not folded up quite enough. So this is where I like the Tombow, and I can refold that up to make sure it comes in nice. Okay, top and bottom. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this again, guys, and you'll see it's just the same process, working right up the way to the top. And when I get to the top two layers, I'll show you what I'm going to do. So what we've got left to do is the two sides in like this and like that, okay? And then we've got our last and final sets of top and bottom ones to fold in. Now, I will glue these sides down there and there for you. And now you could easily just glue your top and bottoms down over the last of that and finish it right off. That's all you really have to do. But I get a bit fussy and I like to have nice mitered corners on my books. Again, a step you don't have to do, and there's probably a little bit of an overkill, so you can just glue those straight down if you want to. But when I get to this end bit here, I try to be tricky. I don't know if it always works, but I try to miter this last top corner. So what I do is if I zoom in, it'll help. So when I'm going to fold this last one down here, guys, what I do is I put my scissors so that it runs from the inside corner of the book to that outside corner there, and I place it over my what's it called, last end flap there. And then I just try and cut a nice, neat, mitered corner. Just take that angle off so that when I put that, glue that last bit down, I've got these nice little angles. I don't know, probably doesn't make any difference, but I think it looks a bit neater than sort of that. So what I do is I go from in here. Once I get the angle going, I can just open this back up and trim it off. So then I've got a nice little set of mitered corners at the top, and do the same thing for the bottom. All right, I'll quickly do that, glue them down. And this time I'm going to glue right along that last edge. Okay, just to cover that last bit all the way down. So that's the basic box construction. You can go ahead and decorate it however you like, really. But if you are interested in how I got the final look to my book, come back and see that second tutorial, and probably call it something like decorating the faux book. All right, thanks guys, bye.